Good morning. Here we are, the end of September. How are people dealing with change? Today's special guest is Ron Cooper, Washington, D.C. area. He's an expert at executive management, as a trusted coach, counselor, trainer. The Cooper culture is his calling. He and Marty Cooper, for years, have built a successful practice, consulting, training, a lot of hard work. But it brings a lifetime of experience in helping others deal with change. So how should it be communicated in today's work environment and the workplaces today? Lots going on today. Ron Cooper will discuss with me, for your benefit, a global perspective, a business perspective. Not everybody wants change. Not everybody deals with change coming from above in a positive way. Ron understands this. He's going to help us understand the complexity of it and how people can change, and how he, as an executive, as a leader, has been and continues to deal with people who are not quick on the uptake. Excuse me, even resistant. So we'll be right back with our program today. I think you'll find it really interesting and, I believe, very useful in your business. So we'll be right back. We're back. Global TV Talk Show welcomes Ron Cooper, the Cooper culture. We have a frequent flyer. We have a frequent appointment on Thursdays for Ron and I, and perhaps others, to get together for a conversation, executive level conversation that is basically unscripted. It's well organized, but unscripted on purpose. We want the viability of spontaneity and honesty and authenticity to come through. Can't think of a better example for authenticity as Ron Cooper. Welcome again, sir.
Ed, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to interact with you one-on-one or one in a group, whatever might be. Ed, I want to advance yesterday's topic. And for those listeners, viewers who did not see or know about yesterday, it included Stephen, Howard, Philip, you. And we're talking about change. And I want to address organizational and family change, but change in its broad context. How can we affect change? And I want to focus our scope on having civil discourse, civil debate, civil conversations, to where even though we might vehemently disagree with each other, we can do so civilly, meaning we're not going to yell, curse, get angry with each other, maybe seek retribution. And I'm going to say, in the context of seeking retribution, as recently as yesterday, being September 24th, 2025, there was a shooting in Dallas, Texas. And it was a person, 29-year-old, from the rooftop who felt it was necessary, and we may never learn what the reason was, but he felt it was appropriate to be on the rooftop and shoot. From what I have read, and I hope what I'm about to say is accurate, detainees who were in an ICE facility. They were not ICE officials, from what I understand, but irrespective of who was involved, this person felt it was appropriate to seek retribution at the end of a gun barrel. And Ed, those are kind of the extremes of retribution, but yet we've had instances very well known of gun shootings, assassination attempts, successful assassinations. We know of people who have died at the end of a knife stabbing and various things. Now, I'm not here to presuppose that I am a certified therapist, anything of that sort, but I am a concerned, very concerned citizen. I'm coming from the perspective, Ed, that can we possibly positively inspire and influence some people? Now, I'm not under any delusion I can influence positively all people, but can we influence some people to the point where we can help some people achieve civil discourse, civil debate, while still being friendly and not seek retribution with each other? Now, let me say very quickly, I am not under any delusion, such as, just to mention some names that are possibly well known amongst your audience, I am not under any delusion that the late Rush Limbaugh could ever be converted to think like Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. Two very different, distinctly different people. Similarly, I am certainly not under any delusion that Maxine Waters could be converted to think on my own effort, just on my own effort. I'm not under any delusion that Maxine Waters could be thought to think and act like the late Reverend Billy Graham. So I'm not trying to make a judgmental statement. I just know that through my own effort, there are some things that could not happen. I do believe that through perhaps divine intervention, things can happen. But I do believe, Ed, in this context, I can be, and I feel a calling to be a catalyst to affect positive transformation. Now, somewhat of a dialogue, somewhat of a diatribe, but what I meant to say is diatribe, not dialogue. But I want to advance what Stephen Howard said yesterday, just one aspect of that. I do believe there is a graduated scale, if I could use that term. There are those on the bottom, if you will, or at least one end, let's just say one end, that are totally recalcitrant. They don't believe in what I believe in. They will do everything they can to undermine and defeat everything I'm saying with an idea that represents a change in an organization. Going up from that, you've got a person who is a little bit lesser entrenched that, I'm not going to actively fight you, but I can't actively support you. They may be of that temperament. You've got the person who's middle of the road. Well, don't know whether I support or not support. I'll just remain silent, wait and see. You have another person further on the scale who is, I'm not quite an evangelist, but this all sounds good. That I'm willing to listen, and I could be converted to that quote, as Stephen Howard mentioned, the evangelist, so to speak, that I'm all in. And with this change that I am recommending for my family and or organization. Now, in the context of this strategization of the way people think, Ed, I would approach from the standpoint of I would work with, in those two categories, the ones who are furthest, right, if I could use that term, but anyway, the ones who are very supportive, the evangelist, or the ones that are saying, I like the idea, I can do whatever I need to do to support that. I want to start there because I can gain a following, if that can be an appropriate term, that of those people who support and through logic, through my influence, can be team supporters. And I would start with them. My purpose in doing that would be to gain a following. And my purpose in this is the more people we have who can be inspirational and persuasive, then the greater the likelihood we can work with those who are vehemently against the idea that represents change. So, I am of the persuasion that first and foremost, they take the easy ones, so to speak, gain a following there. And as I approach with them and myself, those who are less involved, and they are the ones who are, I will not support this and maybe even vocally oppose it. I want to treat them as a prospective team member, hoping they are a team member. But Ed, in my approach, I want my tone, I want my approach to them not be one of, I know you're an adversary, you're an opponent, and so forth, but rather I want to try to gain them over by treating them as if they are a full team member. And with these people, I believe I will spend maybe 90% of my time listening rather than talking because I want to know their perspective. I want to know they are heard. I want to know why it is they cannot support the change I'm recommending. And by listening to them, I give them a voice. I may or may not advocate whatever it is they represent, the reason they can't support me. But in all cases, Ed, I want to support them in a tone of, I believe you are or can be a team member. And by team member, I'm somewhat of a sports analogy, but I am referring to those who can align with my thoughts and they can support. I want to treat them as if they can be. You actually are a part of the team. We just happen to maybe vehemently disagree on whatever the current topic is. But Ed, I want to spend the time to speak with those people. I want them to know, and let's just say it's you and me that we disagree vehemently on whatever topic it is. I want to listen to you as to why you disagree with me. And I want to know that I want you to know you are heard. I hear you. Now, I may not agree with everything you say, but if I disagree with you, I don't want that disagreement to be in a disagreeable tone. I just want to tell you, okay, Ed, thanks for your thoughts. I don't agree with you on that. My thoughts are aligned differently because, but I do believe, Ed, through that meaningful dialogue, what I hope to have a meaningful dialogue, we can have a meaningful exchange of ideas, even though we vehemently might maybe disagree with each other. I
So
may
let
never.
me jump in and
Yes,
just
please do.
say that I'm fascinated by your command of this issue and the depth that you're taking it. So the idea is to get a small win first to build some kind of a communication or an alliance.
Yes, and I will say, Ed, that momentum. I am
Uh,
after, I am seeking momentum. Any small win, any win of any magnitude is momentum in the right direction. And so I'm not trying to say that, well, hey, you're part of the 2%. And it's not that. But can we be inspirational with our idea to where I can win people over, not forcibly, but I would hope that I can help persuade you to think that, oh, okay, Ron, I hadn't thought about that, hadn't thought of it in the way you're thinking. And Ed, I would hope I can win you over through that type of inspiration.
Interesting. So in an organizational setting, that's what we're talking about here, basically,
Yes.
right? Right. Um, the do you use visuals or just words at first?
I use words primarily, Ed, because first and foremost, I want you to know, I want the person to know with whom I'm speaking, this is all about a connected relationship. And let's say a PowerPoint presentation, from my perspective in this context and my personality, can be distractive. I want to talk with that person, and Ed, I think you'll know right away and I use the term teamwork. You have your own definition of what teamwork is, being a part of a team, you're all in, and that's okay. I'm not here to argue what any differences we may have in definition, but I do believe you'll know if I am genuine in my conversation with you. I like eye contact. I want to make the eye contact with you, and in the context of if we have disagreements, I want to spend most of my time listening to your perspective, and you will know, and you'll form an opinion probably within the first maximum 30 seconds. Am I genuine in wanting to listen to you, or am I just throwing words at you to where I'm just you're I feel I owe you time, Ed, but really nothing more than that. But I want to learn about you. I want to learn from you. And so I would hope that I can project that in my conversation, my relationship with you.
Great.
And so, Ed, there are times when, yes, we're going to have a vehement disagreement. And so, within the organization, I would hope that through this conversation, I can impress on you that you know exactly why I want to make this change. You may not agree with me, but then I've got to make a determination, assessment, if you will. I need to discern, even though we disagree, can you still support me with this, even though that's my choice, my decision is not the one you would have made? Can we still work together, even though? And so I will have to make a determination if you're still in alignment with me, or after this conversation, might you go to another coworker? Might you go to social media to continue to undermine me? And that can become a toxic environment.
For sure. So give me an example, a couple of one, two examples of the kind of change that you're referring to. Could it be a sales technique or marketing strategy?
And yes, to all the above. Let's just say something that is, let's say somewhat easy. That, okay, we have a 40-hour work week. Will that be 4 10-hour days? Would that be 5 8-hour days? Might that be some other combination? And what is the greater good? Now, um, I need to make a decision, because let's say we have clients, and those clients may have a need anytime, 24/7, 365. It's not practical from a customer service standpoint to have them say, well, you just hold off until Monday, a normal work day. We might necessarily, if let's just say I'm in the plumbing business, and hey, I've got a water leak. I can't wait until Monday to have that fixed. I've got to have service right now. So how do I work that? And so I have to have a customer service venue to where maybe, Ed, you're my go-to person. Uh, Now, does that mean you must be available during a certain weekend? Maybe, but but our service too. Our brand name is we will service you. We will be there within, let's say, X hours, whatever that may be. But let's just say we have to change our style of business to where we are available to our customers. And I'm fully aware, Ed, this may be a major inconvenience to you, but it's an even greater inconvenience if the house floods or is otherwise damaged from a water leak. And so we need to make some changes to make certain that we are responsible to our clients. And so, Ed, I'll make whatever changes I think are needed to do that, and I'm going to do everything I can to accommodate your schedule. But can I help influence you to think, to know that, yep, our customers are foremost? And I would hope, and there is a company that's guaranteed right first time, but can I, in the context of plumbing, can I have a reputation that our fix is guaranteed to work? guaranteed. And if for some reason it's not working, we're coming right out to fix it. And I want you to know that that is our reputation. That is our brand. That is our service to our local community. That's one thing right there. And there may be some changes within our company that, well, one employee needs to come in later than another employee. Can we work things out to where my schedule, my children, my let's say aging parent, something, I need to change my schedule. Can I be flexible enough? Can I accommodate that change where, Ed, I want to I want to be available to you such that we can meet your personal needs. And I want to do everything I can to change my routine. And are there others who can maybe fill in for you? Because let's just say, for example, our work day starts at 7 a.m., but you can't come in until 10 a.m. because of some valid reasons. I would hope that I will do everything I can because I believe in you, Ed. You are a valuable contributor to our company. I will do what I can, and it may require two or three other employees to fill in the gap. But I want to do everything I can to meet your need, but it is going to require a change to our schedule. And so I would hope that we have a culture in our company to where we work together as a team, that we are willing to make changes. We're willing to accommodate other people because, Ed, I know you're a valuable worker and I want to work with you and I want to do everything I can to help meet your need. Ed, those are just some very simple off the top changes that might be necessary. But for me personally, it's about having a cooperative attitude. Am I an accommodating type person? Not that I'm lowering the standards, but I do know, Ed, that you have needs that may not fit with the rest of the company, and your needs may be temporary, but can we make adjustments to meet those needs, which do necessitate various changes? And there are all kinds of other changes, but those are just some of the very off the top simplified changes that I can think of. Are there changes, Ed, that you've either encountered or you're thinking of that are more difficult, much more difficult than that?
I've been in my own shop and in my own consultancy and TV, and radio conferences. I've just been on my own for so long. If I need to make a change, I just do it, and I don't answer to anybody other than my
Okay.
customer.
And Ed, in some cases, that's the way some of us need to be. We need to be self-employed. That I am not subservient to, if that could be an appropriate term, but I really want to be in total control of my schedule. And I would say that, yes, I would do everything I can if you were one of my employees and you could function in life best. Your greatest life satisfaction and fulfillment would be self-employment. I would help you do that. And so I would hate to give you up, but yet I know what fulfillment is. To be totally fulfilled at what you do, you will function best when you are. And so in that case, Ed, I would help you to do whatever I can do to help you function at your very best. And you may feel that at this time in your life, you feel you need to move on to another chapter, so to speak.
So people sign up for a job. They want the money. They want the prestige. They probably like the work, uh, but it's the conditions under which the employment happens. That's basically, as you as the leader, you dictate, but you want cooperation, but you're the leader.
No, you're right, Ed. And I choose not to use the word dictate, and I don't mean that I'm not trying to imply that you advocate being a dictator. The term fascist and all this kind of stuff comes about, but yes, I am responsible for my company, my family. I am responsible for those under my circle of influence. So, yes, I am responsible for those people. I do want to think globally about their greater good. I do have a company that needs to be profitable, and so I cannot continue with the negative cash flow. So if I'm in a situation of negative cash flow, I've got to determine why. I've got to change that because other people with my staff members are dependent on an income, and so I've got to make certain that I am thinking beyond myself. I'm thinking to them. So what changes might we need to make to ensure your viability in the company? Now, that's all about a culture. Ed, I can point to various statistics that there are those who will stay with me, you, any company, because of the culture, even though somebody else down the street might be able to pay them more. People stay with or leave a company primarily because of people, not money. People. And so, in that context, Ed, I want to make sure you know I value you, not placating you. I don't want to patronize you. I want you to know, and Ken Lloyd has addressed this numerous times, numerous ways, but I want to applaud you for the work you're doing and primarily the reason for. And what was Ed? You had a great conversation with, and whatever you did with that person helped change them in a very positive way. I want to be very specific about your contributions to the company. I want to make sure I'm not saying this in a patronizing way, but in a meaningful way. And we can't, it's not appropriate, it's less appropriate to wait for that annual review to do that, but more so appropriate, hey, the proverbial 17 seconds right now at the coffee bar. Ed, I really appreciate everything you've done, and your message too was very helpful to that person. So any of those number of things, Ed, that's all a matter of culture. And but when we have the right culture, I think we can do a lot of very positive things. In the overall context of this conversation is civil discourse. Can we purpose to work with each other in a way where we will civilly discuss matters? Ed, you and I have talked about it before, and I would hope that one of the very core values we have in our company, in our relationship, is we will never denigrate each other. And I'm talking about I will never consciously devalue your character. I will never do that behind your back, and I will never do that to you personally. I may ask you why you did something, what you meant by, or something like that, but I will never intentionally denigrate your character. That can make you feel much lesser of a person, and you have value as a person. No matter what your background, your heritage, anything, in my opinion, we're all equal. So I want to make you feel that you are a valued person, not to undermine you, but always to be very meaningful to you. And again, not to patronize, but I hope you know that you are a very meaningful addition to this company. I have you on my team, if I could use that expression, because you are good at whatever I am not good at. You have a very valuable contribution to our team. Ed, that's what I'm talking about. And again, always, 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 I would hope we can engage in civil discourse, even though we may vehemently disagree on whatever the local, small, global topic might be. Always, I want to have a civil discourse with you because I always want to know what you think, but why you think the way you do.
So the Cooper culture. This
And
is
yes,
this is what it is.
with the emphasis on culture, we want to do what we can to help you with a positive culture. We can help you with public speaking. If you have events where maybe you have offsite events, so forth, you have various speakers come in, I hope I can garner your approval to speak on any of these type topics. It may be appropriate, and many organizations benefit from half-day seminars, half-day workshops, where we discuss these type matters. And Marty, my wife, and I are DISC personality certified. A lot of what we're talking about, Ed, is a matter of personality. That the way I address different people is based on their personality. And I approach different people different ways, and there are ways we can assess a person's personality. And I would hope we would choose to adapt to them, their way of thinking, and their manner of speaking. When we choose to do that, we can significantly increase our ability to communicate. And Marty and I represent connected relationships in the context of, yes, we work well with each other. And when I say connected, I'm talking about professionally connected, where we have a very good relationship with each other. Again, we've talked a lot, but I'm a strong, strong advocate of having a psychologically safe environment or culture where, Ed, you can come to me at any time, and I may have said, done something you disagree with, but you and I can have an open discussion, and I will never denigrate you. I'll never think less of you simply because you differ from the way I think, but I can learn from your way of thinking. Ed, that's a lot of what culture is about.
So, leadership, uh, being an example of the kind of uh, role playing, acting, not from a faking point of view, but acting out how you model behavior that you want in your organization. I'm getting lost in my own word salad here. I don't mean to be, but what you have been saying to me here is uh, language, use of expression uh, at at work and with customers. This is what you're talking about.
I am. And Ed, a lot of what you're saying is, yes, it's tone. That's certainly one thing. But then I want to project to you as one of my employees, if we had that type relationship, I genuinely care about you, Ed. I know there is a continuum between home and the workplace. When things are going well at home, there's a reasonable possibility you'll arrive clean-minded, clear-minded, such that you can work better at the work site. And if things are going well at work, I have a good culture. There's a reasonable chance I can send you home happy. Now, I talk about harmony in the workplace. Stephen Howard, again, talks about humany, but the combination of human harmony, which means not everything is going to go well all the time, but we have people and processes in place. The harmony is we will discuss whatever it is that can be made better. I'm a believer always that people and processes can improve. But as we have that open environment, we can discuss those matters. Now, I will never force myself on you and your home, Ed, but if things are not working well at home, I would hope you'd feel free to discuss that with me. And it's in an environment where I would never have a negative thought about you because of whatever may be happening at home. But I just know that when things are working well at home, and you maybe can benefit from any ideas I have about the home environment, I would hope that we can share ideas, and I do want to engage as much as you feel comfortable engaging with me about your home environment. Again, knowing there's a continuum between home and work. That's the culture of our company. That's the culture I want to be known as. That is a branding statement right there. But Ed, when you know with certainty, I do genuinely care about you, your family, everything about you. And I want to be available to you, not forcibly, but I want you to know that I'm available to you to discuss anything at home because I know of this continuum. And when we have that kind of culture, that relationship, that trust with each other, I know with certainty we are going to have a long-term, valuable relationship. And that's the way we function best. That I know with 100% certainty. Statistics bear it, and I can give you a lot of other proof that bear out to what I'm saying.
So as we come to a close here in the next few minutes, what about when people, when you're having a problem with a person, uh, that they are a non-believer in something that matters to you? Uh, do you cut the relationship or try to uh, steer or investigate more about that denial of non-acceptance of what you're preaching?
A multifaceted response to your question, Ed, that may be the topic for next week's conversation. That let's assume, in the context of the scale, as we talked about in the very beginning, I've got a person who doesn't believe in, they don't support, and they will do everything they can to undermine the idea I have. I do want to work with this person. And as Stephen Howard said, you can only graduate this person from, oh, if I could use the term bottom to an improvement in mindset, it's one step at a time and it's going to take time. Now, my opinion is if this person does not want to converse, this person is unpersuadable, this person's values do not align with those of my company. That is, one of those values is we will never denigrate each other. We will speak with each other first. If you can't align with any of those values, and again, what are the core values? What are peripheral topics? I'll have to make a decision whether you stay with my company. And if the decision is, Ed, that it just seems that your values are very askew of my company values, I will do what I can to, I'm not going to just throw you off into the bushes. I will offer to try to find better employment for you. You may work better with the company down the street. And I'll do what I can to have you have to transfer you there, but I am not of the mindset that I just want to throw you out to the bushes. I'll offer to help you, Ed, and you may say, nope, don't want your offer, Ron. I just want to get away from here. Okay, that's your choice, Ed. And so now, how do you work with a person like that? And that's a topic for maybe next week's conversation, Ed. And I do believe in a values aligned company. How can you be relatively certain, have a high degree of certainty, you are bringing on the right people who share your values?
This has just been a wonderful conversation and a learning experience for me, and I'm hopeful that the audience, the business audience, uh, from the distribution that I organize for this, will tune in, uh, read the transcript notes, and listen to the audio. Some people will learn differently, right? Some people want to hear, some people want to read, other people love this TV style.
Yeah, and I'll say this very quickly, Ed. I am not of the persuasion that I can change anybody and everybody. There's some people who vehemently will not change. And so I can help inspire those who are willing to be open for change, those who say, nope, never again. I'm not of the persuasion that I can and will change you because I think you determine if you want to change. That's strictly your choice.
So find out more at thecooperculture.com.
And you can send an email to me, Ron, RON, at thecooperculture.com. I do encourage dialogue. And I dialogue very well with those of differing opinions. I welcome your dialogue, even if you disagree with me.
Thank you for being on Global TV Talk Show.
Thank you, Ed.
Have a good one. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The button. The button. There we go.